Hello, hello. Welcome to the Knight's Arm. We are starting a new series today in Europa Universalis 4. This is going to be our third attempt at creating a long-lasting and successful empire, and that coincides with our channel in which we are going to create a long-lasting series. We first started off as the Mamluks in hopes of creating Arabia and the Caliphate eventually. And unfortunately, we failed because of this little country right here called Yemen that completely blinded us of any right actions in the game. And due to our quest and hunger to conquest it, it led to extreme rebels breaking out and totally breaking the country. And so that campaign ended. Next campaign we did was Morocco. We also wanted to form the Caliphate, but that was more of a long-term goal. And in the short run, I wanted to continue playing as Morocco, conquer most of North Africa. Unfortunately, that ended up in failure because we had a really strong alliance between Portugal, Castile, Aragon, and France, which made it unstoppable. Usually people who play as Morocco or any of these North African countries, they have to be careful with the Iberian overlords. And so a lot of them make sure that their save game results in one that doesn't have that. In this case, it usually is just a trio between Portugal, Castile, and Aragon. But I got so unlucky that even France joined in and allied themselves with Castile, which makes it impossible for me to play because they declared war on me. And in that event, if there's normally a trio, you could ally with the Ottomans and the Ottomans might come and help. But because France joined, the Ottomans said heck no. So today, I want to do something a little bit easy. It may seem boring, but I feel like following this alternative history, which could have happened actually, will be interesting. I'm going to play as the Ottomans. And what my goal will be is to expand down to South Africa and then to colonize. Because, as I said, I was watching a documentary on this. The Ottomans were about to colonize because they did try to have access to the trade routes into East Asia. Mainly East-South Asia over here. Southern east of Asia, which is India. And they primarily succeeded in doing that. They conquered a bunch of this. So anybody who wants to sail up here and then transfer goods over land, they need to go through the Ottomans. They also controlled part of this, and this is, I believe, the Persian Gulf. So they also control the Persian Gulf. So they had access to all this seas over here, and they stayed pretty dominant. The Ottomans' next goal was to conquer the New World, given that they succeeded here. But unfortunately, they couldn't because of Spain. Spain completely blockaded the Mediterranean into the Atlantic, and so the Ottomans could not have passed through this, and consequently, they didn't colonize. But they did have hopes, and there were plans on the books of them going and gaining the coast of Morocco. And the Ottomans got up all the way up to right here, I believe. They got up all the way to the border of Morocco, and they tried to invade Morocco unsuccessfully many times. And eventually they just went on an assassination campaign, I guess, and they assassinated one of the kings of Morocco. And I believe they took his head and brought it back to the Ottomans in display to show everybody that they were successful, but in actuality, they weren't. I don't know if that's a word, actuality. I should say reality. In reality, it wasn't. So we're going to be playing as the Ottomans. We're going to fulfill their unfulfilled destiny, and that is get all of this. The Ottomans have gotten all this. My hopes is to get Morocco in this case, colonize, and I also want to gain most of the coast of the Mediterranean. I sort of want to be the major power in the Mediterranean. And that's going to entail me getting a bunch of these islands here. And who knows, I might even get some tips of Italy. And if we have enough time, I'll probably get a little bit of Aragon over here. And I want to keep it realistic. There's a lot of people who play the Ottomans and then you just see them conquer all of this, which is I don't like doing that because it's just so ahistorical and it obviously wouldn't have happened in real life. But doing something like this, conquering North Africa, very plausible. Conquering some of these islands, maybe getting snippets of Italy, maybe even getting up to here, definitely getting Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, Herzegovina, Ragusa, and Venice is definitely going to be plausible. And we'll sort of hold off over here. We can expand down into parts of Asia, but I sort of want to keep this alone. Maybe the Timurids might do the work for us into getting all these smaller nations here, which will consequently give us a headache later on. But we'll hold off on our Asian front. We can claim a bigger portion of the Middle East, maybe even claim all of it, but that, again, won't be our priority. And we'll hold off on Southern Africa. So again, my priority is going to be capture this, capture these islands. Then my second priority will be get a little bit of the Middle East, and then if I have resources, if I have the will, if I see if I have any competitive advantages, I'll go ahead and start claiming coasts of the Mediterranean. I want to be the complete overlord of the Mediterranean. I don't want to let anybody have access to these seas, and it'll be really great for us in trade. So let's go ahead and place the Ottomans. Let's do... I guess we can do Iron Man mode, because, I mean, I never really have any issues with the game not saving anything. That hasn't happened to me yet, although I know people who have had that happen to. And Iron Man mode just gives me a simpler playing experience, because I have one save that I can just load and then come back to normal mode. You know, it gets confusing because it creates a bunch of saves and auto saves. Let's do it. Let's play in Iron Man mode. Let's go for it. Let's just name this the Ottomans. And let's start it. We'll see where this takes us. As you guys know, we won't unpause the game, or we are going to... yes, we aren't going to unpause the game this run. Has my game crashed? I'm getting a no loading. The spinning circle. The spinning circle of death. Alright, here we go. Alright, so let's quickly read this. The Ottomans in 1444 are a regional power in the process of securing control over Anatolia, there we go, and the Balkans. In the east, Ottoman control has been reimposed in the aftermath of the Timurid invasion, but several Biliks remain independent. These beys jockey for a position between the expanding power of the Ottomans on one side and the Mamluk Empire of Egypt and Syria, still the strongest state in the Middle East, on the other. In Europe, the Ottomans have defeated the Crusades in the Battle of Varna, killing Vladislav, the Polish and Hungarian king. Byzantium now lies exposed, and Hungary has been forced on the defensive, but with the fortress of Belgrade still serves as a strong bulwark against further Ottoman expansion. The lesser princes in between can survive only by playing the great powers off one another. Further south, Skanderbeg leads Albania in revolt against the Ottomans, supported by Venice, which still dominates the seas. The realm ruled by the Ottoman dynasty is not yet a centralized state in 1444. The Sultan's authority is enforced only by his small household of servants, recruited from slaves captured in war, and from the Devshirme, the period conscription of Christian youths from the Balkan countryside. Have I said that right? Devshirme? I think that's right, Devshirme. These are the famous Janissaries, who will in time grow into a powerful standing army. The Ottomans have come to power with the with the military backing of numerous marcher lords, still highly autonomous on the Balkan frontier, while the administration lies in the hands of the Turkish aristocracy. I always have trouble saying that word, aristocracy, literate in the ways of statecraft, but largely independent of the Sultan's authority or statescraft. All this is about to change. Having defeated the Crusader armies, the old Sultan Murad II is now on his way back to his estates in Manisa, leaving the government in the hands of the young Mehmed II. Mehmed II. It is he who will go on to transform the Ottoman state into an empire, acquiring Constantinople as an imperial capital and establishing a centralized administration to reign in the marcher lords and old Turkish families. For the Grand Turk, there can be no compromise. The House of Usman is to be the supreme authority in the land. The only question is, where will his armies turn first? Okay, our religion is Sunni. We have basically a sultanate. We sort of started the sultanate era in which all these Muslim nations are now doing their own sultanates. Okay, so we want to get our navy up. I definitely want to focus on navy this game, and we're going to need a high navy in order to defeat Venice, because we're going to need to send a bunch of transports, and we can't have the Venetian army completely take down our transport while we invade their lands. And you can see Venice has some lands in our sphere right now and that I would consider a target. So we have Venice over here, and we also have Venice over here. And these are high developed provinces, so these are going to be extremely strategic to acquire in battle. Athens is an independent nation here, but you know that won't that won't last long. I try to talk while I was in the middle of burping. We have the knights here, which can be picked off easily. I can't click on them because they're too small. They're also highly developed. Yeah, these areas right here, rich in development. There's also Genoa that we can go to war with. They have 2 islands. And of course, Byzantium, which is probably going to be our first plan of action. Should we just declare war on them right away? Hopefully nobody will join us. Let's quickly set our rivals. Let's definitely set Venice as our rival. And Austria, Hungary, Lithuania, and the Mamluks have rivaled us. I could ally the Mamluks in return, or I could just look at here to see who has rivaled me. I could rival the Mamluks in return, but I'm not sure. I definitely want to acquire Wallachia. If I'm going to expand into Europe, as I said, and again, I did say that I was going to get some of these coastal provinces, so I'm going to do some stuff, but I'm not going to invade inland over here, right? I'm not going to go to war with the Ottomans, although going to war with Austria might be inevitable because Austria is going to send a crusade towards me. And I have to prepare myself for that. But we do want to claim Venice, and I can't rival... Oh no, I have rivaled Venice, yes. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think I was saying I can't rival all these coastal nations, but we'll see what we could do. I wonder how the game determines this. Not sure. Let's rival Aragon. I mean, I'm ready to claim some of these stuff. I don't want to get into war with Austria-Hungary anytime soon, but if we do get into war with them, it'll be a great benefit if we have them as a rival, because I think we get some bonuses. Yeah, we get more prestige, easier spy network construction, but we'll just do the countries that we know we're going to get into war with for like 100% positive. So Aragon, I do want to go into war with you because I want to claim some of your islands. And then who knows, we might go to war with the Mamluks because we are going to expand into Africa, so we'll claim that as well. We can pass some decisions. So we could adopt the title of the Khalifa. We move towards legalism. Do we want legalism or do we want mysticism? I think we should go towards mysticism because our nation is already going to have a lot of tax. We are already making a lot of money. So this is going to be an extreme benefit to move towards mysticism. And historically, the Ottomans were there were a lot of Sufis in the Ottoman Empire. And I mean, if you think of, when I think of a religious Ottoman or a religious Turk, this is the first image that pops into my mind. The people who have this type of dress, and they do the rituals where they, I don't know if it's right to call it a ritual, but they do this religious dance where they just spin in circles, for minutes on end. And that they sort of, they don't get the sensation of nauseousness, but they do it to sort of connect with God spiritually, and it shows how they're not affected by their movements. So I'm gonna move towards mysticism. So let me not pass this. So let's remove that. This is again forcing me to move towards legalism. We can enforce religious unity. So we get missionary strength. We'll do that. And we can expand the Divshirm system. By enrolling young men from newly conquered lands into service, we have increased the efficiency of our recruitment process considerably. Let's further expand and refine the system as our state grows. So we're going to sacrifice our military power for some manpower. Right now we're gaining 275, which I think is more than enough, but since we have a large army, our manpower is going to get eaten up pretty quickly, so I might want to take this and sacrifice the military power. So let's go ahead and do that. Have we set all our rivals? Yes, we have. So what we could do is, if we look at our map, we don't have any cores. We have one on Albania. And Albania is guaranteed by Venice. So we can go straight to Albania over here and go to war with Venice right away. But again, as I said, Venice still has a stronger navy. 25, and I have 22. I can build up to my force limit and will probably just be even. And if I look at my ships, yeah, most of mine consist of transports, which is normal. And there's no way for me to check Venice, what their makeup is. Although, I could probably check in the ledger. Is that... Yeah, I could check in the ledger. So let's look at Venice. So Venice has 7 light ships, 5 galleys. 7 and 5. I have... only 3 light ships and 7 galleys. Yeah, so there's no... I mean, the galleys are beneficial in inland seas, which the entire Mediterranean is probably... Yeah, it's all inland seas. So I do have a benefit to that, but I'm not sure how much of a benefit it is to light ships. If they completely win light ships over, or if light ships are inferior to galleys in the inland seas. So we'll just leave it like that. We can convert some provinces. We have a lot of provinces that are Orthodox. We could probably get started on this one. Sivas. Where is Sivas? Is that over here? Yeah. We probably get started on converting that. Yeah, why not? We have provincial unrest, excuse me. Not arrest, unrest. We can declare war on Byzantium now. And Athens is going to go ahead and join them. So I think we should do that. If we declare war on them now, the odds of some country joining them is probably very slim. So now I think another unfortunate part of the Ottoman right now, well, this is not a big factor in our campaign in their history, is that they didn't really have any strong allies. I mean, their main ally was Germany in World War I. So you could see they've gone that many years without a real strong, noticeable ally. We can't ally ourselves with the Russians But again, Russia still isn't a nation yet. What about Lithuania has rivaled us. Poland somewhat likes us. If Prussia forms sometime further in the game, we will definitely ally ourselves with them because, again, historically that's what they did, and strategically in the game it makes sense. Or should we just ally ourselves with the Timurids? That is, if the Timurids are going to be a strong nation in this area. If they are, let's ally ourselves, and they could probably help us sending troops over. But by the looks of it, I can't tell because the game, nothing has happened. They won't accept an alliance, but they will accept a royal marriage. Why not? Oh, they have too many relations. So, but they probably will accept an alliance if I improve relations. So I'll send you over there. Who else can I influence into my nation? I'm definitely thinking about vassalizing a couple of these nations here instead of just going to war and eating them up. Do we have any vassals of our own? No. Okay. I think that's a change because in previous updates we did have some vassals, but it was just too OP. I guess the developers wanted to make it a little bit more tough for the Ottomans. Who do we have the strongest relationship with? We have strongest relationships with Dol Qadir and Ramazan, so we could probably do both. Let's put our priority on Dul Qadir. The question is, if we ally them and royal marry them, will they accept vassalization? I'm not sure. So let's just ally ourselves with them. And Kandar, will you guys accept an alliance? No. Yeah, that's obvious. Yeah, so these two are gonna need to go. I'm gonna need to go to war with. And I must wait a day before I can send another offer. So I definitely want to ally with you also. So we're going to play a game of who are we going to go to war with versus who are we going to vassalize. So those are going to be some decisions that we're going to need to make in the future. So we're going to vassalize Dul Qadir over here. And everybody else we're going to go to war with. But primarily we're going to go to war with Byzantium. So let's go ahead and start a spy network against them. And that should be it. So we'll continue this series in the next episode. And we'll see where we can go from there. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Stay safe.